There we go.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the studio again. It's amazing to be here again. I'm Rachelle from Your Happy Place. We help people to find their happy place through our online program, the Positive Mindset Challenge. I'm joined in the studio, of course, by the beautiful Alana from Your Success Team, who helps you to fire on all cylinders in all parts of your business. And we are super excited today to talk with Wick from Wicked Wellbeing, because Wick's background is all around nutrition and health, and so much of what you eat has just such a massive impact on your mindset and how you feel and how you show up each day. So we're super excited to draw on Wick's amazing experience and knowledge today, and for her to share some amazing gold nuggets with us on what makes her tick, her wonderful healthy habits, what she's seeing as trends in women today, and some little wonderful gold nugget takeaways that we can incorporate into our day just to help us feel better each day. So welcome, Wick. It's wonderful to have you here, and it's wonderful to see you.
Thanks so much, Rachelle. It's a very amazing intro. Well done.
It's fabulous to talk to you. So as I said, so much of your mindset, there's so many different aspects of mindset, but so much of it comes from your healthy food beliefs, and also around from what you're eating and what you're fueling your body with. It has just such a big impact on the day. So would you like to kick things off just by giving us a little bit about your background and your journey into this space, and what perhaps made you stop and take a look at what you were eating, or what opened your eyes to what good nutrition looks like?
Yes. So I grew up on a farm in southern Hawke's Bay, and was always, Dad had a really big, and still does, a big veggie garden. I don't really know where it came from. I've always been really passionate about cooking. And then as I got older, I went to an all-girls boarding school. It was really, important for me to not to put on weight. That was a big belief for me, and to fit in, I suppose. And so as I got older, the healthier and healthier it became. And then when I had my children, so I've got 3 teenagers, I realized how important it was to nourish them with just homemade whole foods that really impact the way that they perform, in terms of, or just how they be, right? I don't know if they will say that that's a blessing now. They are teenagers, they earn their own money, they walk past 3 dairies to get to school. So being their age, my boys are really good, my girls, a little bit less to be desired. But where I come from now is coming from a place of leading by example, and just in the hope that, as they get older, then they will just come around and go, actually, what Mum was telling us was really right. And my middle girl is getting there. My youngest, we're a little bit, like that on it. But as I say, it is just me leading by example, and I actually just really love nutritious food. I love the way it makes me feel. I love the taste. I love the experience that you can do with all these different types of food. And I literally make every meal count. I get excited by every single meal that I have.
Wow, that's amazing. So making every meal count, that's quite phenomenal.
I actually really do.
I love
and
that.
And I think that many women don't realize the power of food. They don't realize how good it can make them feel, and are in, obviously very busy. Expense can come into it. So it's like, or don't have time, I'll sort my kids and then I forget about me. That's a big one. So I teach women on how to not forget about you, because actually if you haven't got your health, you haven't got anything, and you're difficult to be around. You haven't got the energy to show up for your family, your partner, your work colleagues, your friends. So it plays a huge role in how you show up.
Interesting, isn't it, that as women and especially as mothers, we just become accustomed to putting ourselves last and putting everyone else first.
I know.
And so along with that comes, nurturing ourselves and feeding ourselves really, really well. And so, the times when the kids are at school or you're busy and you grab that snack on the go or that lunch on the go, or you grab something when you're out and about or whatever, all those meals count, don't they? They all add up. So
they really do.
yeah, they do. And so it's super important for us to realize the value in our role in the family and how important it is to put ourselves first. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, Wick, it's not an easy thing to just come to, like, make every meal count. And I imagine for you, like, one, your business is based around it, so it's what you live and breathe. But I also imagine it was a bit of a journey. So, like, if you're like me and you're like, oh, crumbs, it's 10 o'clock, I forgot to have breakfast because I was so busy racing around after everybody else. How do you get from kind of my end of the spectrum to your end of the spectrum? Do you want to share a little bit about your journey and maybe some of the stuff that you've found works, like in the real world versus
the
like
easy steps?
Yeah. Planning.
Meal planning,
but even just planning what a breakfast looks like for you. And I want to share a concept with you that I'm always thinking about when I'm having every meal. So it's in terms of the food combinations that you have on your plate, ensuring, because what that does is it stabilizes your blood sugar levels and it makes you, have less highs and lows. So you can make more controlled food choices. You are stabilizing your moods, and all of it is really, really key. And as we get older, it's really important to make sure that we've got these food groups in us for muscle mass and for bone density, because all of those are really, really important. So at every meal that I have, and as you said, Alana, this is my gig. So I just want you to know that, yes, I do have this sorted, but there are other parts of my life that I don't have sorted. So, parenting is something that I really struggle with. So I just want to put that out there.
We're all only human. I love it.
Yeah, we are.
Lovely disclaimer. Thanks, Wick.
I think you're a superwoman too, with you look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
So with every meal, I'm always thinking, what is my protein source? What are my healthy fats? What are my fruit and veggies, and as many veggies as you can get in as possible? And then what are my carbohydrates in terms of it keeping me sustained so that they're slow release to stabilize those blood sugar levels, right? So the first meal of the day, the most important, whether that is breakfast, brunch, lunch, if you fast, okay, it's still the same concept. You've got to make sure that you've got enough protein in there, you've got enough healthy fats. So you might just grab a piece of toast, make sure it's grainy. You might put some avocado on there and an egg, okay, or a couple of eggs. As we get older, our protein needs increase. It might be a smoothie. You have all your smoothie packs already pre-made, and you get the kids to do them in the freezer, but they haven't just got berries in them. They've got avocado, and they might have some spinach or kale leaves, and they've got some nuts, or they might have some peanut butter, or so with your banana and your blueberry, and they might have a scoop of protein powder in there. You can have those all pre-made so that when you do what am I going to have for lunch? It's like, this is what I can have, or breakfast, this is what I can have. So that's what I mean by pre-planning, is that you've got a couple of options. It might be that you need to just make a quiche in the weekend, cut it up into sixes, put it in the freezer, and that's your breakfast. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love that. That's actually ingenious, because the whole taking something out of the freezer, banging it in the kitchen whiz with your liquid that's ingenious. It's perfect, rather than pulling out all 6 or 7 ingredients each time and having it take so much longer.
Or you could do like a chia pudding. You know, you can do a week's worth, 5 days of those, have them sitting in the fridge, and they're a great source of protein from your chia seeds and the yogurt, and healthy fats from the coconut. You can put nuts and seeds into it. You've got a really balanced, so it's just looking at different options of what you feel is achievable for you. Like, you're not going to go from you, Alana, to where I'm at, obviously, but it's just those food combinations are so important.
Your
That's
little
what
steps.
keeps you sustained, and that's what makes you make more controlled food choices.
I love that. So what do you do in your day? That's what are your non-negotiables?
Yeah.
What are your, no matter what happens in the day or how busy you are or how frantic it is, what's your absolute non-negotiables for the day?
And I'll go for 90%, because you know, sometimes I might get really busy at work, or there are just, you know, things going on that it does slide. But my non-negotiables are, generally I get up, because I'm an early riser, I generally get up between 5 and 5:30. And I'll have a warm lemon and water with a slice of ginger and a pinch of cayenne pepper. That is how I start my day every single day. And that generally doesn't get bumped. What that does is it kickstarts your metabolism, it kickstarts your digestive system, it's really soothing on the stomach. The cayenne gets rid of the toxins, so it's a really great way. And I have a lot of people who do that, and then they notice they don't get coffee cravings, and they don't get cravings in the afternoon. It's like a real power drink. Then I do a little bit of mindset work, and I might do 10 minutes of that, gratitude, you know, other mindset stuff. Then I do my exercise, and that is my absolute non-negotiable. I know that exercise is my mental health, and it makes me feel really good. I get it. If it's not done first thing in the morning, then it just doesn't happen. I know that for myself. I will never bump it to the end of the day because I'm shattered.
Nice.
So that is my morning routine, and then my breakfast. So I have a combination of a different type of porridge, which has got seeds and chia seeds in it, and Greek yogurt, berries, nuts and seeds on the top.
Beautiful, delicious, nice. Yeah. Love it. So that's just such an empowering way to start the day, and getting that up that little bit earlier and filling your own cup first gives you so much more to face everyone during the day, doesn't it? Allows you to just give so much more to everyone else you meet during the day. And
I wake up in the morning and go, is it time to get up yet? I really do.
You're excited to get up. Great.
I am, right. And then if someone gets up and it's my time, I'm like, what are you doing up? This is my time. So it's that I know I'm really lucky to be a morning person, but to be able to be a morning person, I get to bed earlier. You know, if you want to be a morning person, get to bed earlier. Even if it's 15-30 minutes, it's, you know, it just makes it so
that's also easier said than done. And I hear you, because like I'm falling asleep by 9:33 most nights. What works for you? Because I know you've got yours is a sort of a hard 10 p.m. What works for you to at the end of the day, so that you've got that ritual, so you go to bed, so you wake up with the you know, the energy to face the day?
Yeah, so I have a downtime that goes off on my phone at 9 o'clock. So it gives me a 5-minute warning, your downtime is about to go off, and then it shuts down my phone. And I could override it, but what's the point? Because I'm cheating myself, because I want to get to bed early, right? Last night I was 10:30, and that was like, that just makes me get a little bit uneasy. And I didn't sleep very well, and I was up during the night. So not saying, you know, so sometimes I can be up during the night, but if I can't get back to sleep, I will get up, I will go and read my book for half an hour, give myself half an hour, and then I read my book, have a cup of tea, come back to bed, and then, you know, I will go back to sleep. So I'm very diligent. I have a shower before I go to bed, and then I read, and lights out generally by 10:15 at the latest.
Nice. So you've got a whole evening routine that switches you off, relaxes your body, tells it it's time to sleep, and allows you to wind down off your devices, so you haven't got the blue light, all that. Lovely.
And if
beautiful.
that's something, if you're struggling with that, that is something that is so key to implement.
Because it's so key for your well-being.
It is, because sleep is number one Food is really, really important, but sleep is number one. Because if you don't sleep very well, then you haven't got the energy to exercise, then you don't want to eat very healthy. But if you sleep well, you exercise, then you want to eat healthier. So it just goes in this cycle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love that. So tell us about your business, and who are you finding that you're working with most? Who is needing the real help and support? Who's really struggling at the moment, and who do you find that you're drawn to help the most?
I find it's me, actually. Well, the earlier me, but my age.
Yeah.
So I've just turned 49, and so I find that my audience is very perimenopausal, menopausal, or the early 40s. 40s to I'd say 70s. I've got quite a but the majority of women that I work with are in that same stage that I am, or they've gone through it. And I do one-on-one coaching, or I do group coaching, and it's just helping them prioritize their own health and well-being. That's really, and getting some of these daily habits in place and making it where they don't feel guilty, but they actually can fit it in. And then I run weekend wellness retreats.
Oh, lovely. Nice.
Yes. And so that's like a total immersion of holistic health for a whole weekend, which is, so amazing. Nurturing. And they're called rest, nourish and restore retreats.
Nice. I love it. And where do you run those? Are they in Auckland, or where do you run those?
No, I hire a house up in Whanganui.
Nice.
Yes. My next one coming up is on the 31st of March, if anyone is interested.
Fabulous. 31st of March in Whanganui. Yeah.
Yes. And it's just a way for, if you really struggle with getting those habits in place, or how to make nutritious eating, obviously the retreats are a big part about the food, then it's just a complete weekend of indulgence of you.
Nice. Yeah. Totally absorbed in your own well-being, which we never do. We just
no.
Yeah.
And I imagine for lots of people that's such a wonderful way of starting, is something that's totally immersive. But then there's also, and I mean, I know that Wick, you're one of our contributors for the 1% Everyday Challenge, and I know you're a massive fan of the power of small changes. Up. So maybe like immersion retreat sounds amazing, but quite out of reach for someone like me. So could you maybe take us on the the other end of the spectrum? What's some of the smallest stuff people could be doing that you see really, really helpful?
Yeah. So starting a day with warm lemon and water. Just do that. Just look at ways you can get more veggies into your diet. In every single meal. I mean, I get fruit in my breakfast. I don't get veggies. But then at every other meal, I'm like, I might have an omelette and I'll have a salad on the side. When you're snacking, be prepared so that you might have hummus, and if you just buy it. And you've got carrot sticks or veggie sticks. Or you've got, I know, Alana, that you're great with your baking, and just have like baking in the freezer that you can easily just grab. If you're wanting to get fitter, don't sign up to a half marathon if you're not fit. Start really small and achievable so that you are going to feel like you're winning. And 1%, it just takes a 1% change each day, which will change the trajectory of your health dramatically over a year. But a 1% decline can also change that direction. So if you think 1% is nothing, and it might be that you just start with lemon and water.
Perfect.
And it might mean that you reduce your coffee intake. And it might mean, but just start small. This is where women, I find that their area of downfall is that they think they've got to exercise, eat nutritiously, get to bed early, stop drinking, stop having caffeine, and then they go, holy man, I can't do that. So they just don't do anything.
I can't do that, so I'm going to have some chocolate and a glass of wine on the couch and binge watch Netflix, and oh shit, it's 11 o'clock and I'm only going to bed now. Exactly right.
And then they berate themselves for thinking, I'm just so useless.
Yeah. Because you know what, sometimes it's just what people need, because especially if you had a super stressful day, everyone has their unwind in a different way, right? So the whole, the picture that we're painting is just so far from people. So I love your 1% of maybe just this week I drop, I have half the alcohol that I would normally have, or I have a glass of wine every second night instead of every night, or just tiny little transformational changes add up to a massive amount. So it's not about making, if your mind needs to sit on the couch and flick off from Netflix for an hour because it's just been so frantic today, then great, do that. And as you go along on your journey, think about other little ways you can switch off instead of Netflix when the time comes. Maybe there's a quiet music track you can listen to, or a meditation track, or a sleep track, or something else you can listen to that also helps you switch off.
Or it might be a gentle walk in the evening, a 10, 15-minute walk. If you're not walking already, and then all of a sudden you add 3 or 4 walks in a week, it's a massive
amazing
that's going to have an impact.
I love that. So on that note, on that theme, what are your healthy swap outs? What's a few things that people can, you talked about coffee, or, what's a few alternatives you can say, well, if you're wanting to get rid of this particular thing, swap it with this particular thing?
Well, alcohol is a big one. And the more and more I learn, if your audience is around the perimenopause or menopause, is that alcohol, unfortunately, is not our friend in this stage. Doesn't mean that you've got to get rid of it, but it's just not. So it changed, with a kombucha. And I have a kombucha every night, and I have it with ice and half soda water and in a nice glass. That's actually what I really, really love. Getting more beans and lentils and vegetarian forms of protein into your meals rather than your, heavy meats. Try and reduce your processed foods, because that's where all the additives and preservatives are, and where you totally lose control. So just do a little bit of home baking, and just, as I say, eating lots of veggies, grating up lots of veggies into meals, and if your kids are going to pick them out, then puree them up, freeze them in ice cubes, all those tricks that we used to do.
Absolutely, I love
it. Nuts and seeds are a really good healthy swap out. Just be aware that they do have quite a high, nuts especially, a high fat content. So just, be mindful about the quantity that you're using. A couple of pieces of fruit a day, really good. Just getting as much of those whole foods into your diet as possible.
Nice. I love that. So it's sort of having a look at each meal as you go, and just, putting more vegetables in there, swapping out some of the processed foods for something a bit more natural.
And, if you come home from work and you're starving and you go, oh, I just want chips, you could go, okay, so if that is you and you can't say no, get the chips out of the house.
Yes.
If the temptation is too big that you can't say no, then just don't have it in the house.
Don't buy them.
And I know that might impact, like my husband is seriously a chipaholic. He's such a chipaholic. But I have got the discipline to not eat them, because I know that they're not a nutritious choice, right?
Yes.
Sometimes I have some, or I'll have a healthier option where I'll have multi-grain corn chips. So that's a healthier swap out, right? And so, or, I'll have hummus and veggie sticks. Or
some nuts or something when you come home and you've got that real hunger that you need filling. Some nuts or something is quite a good at that time of the day, isn't it?
Yes.
Awesome.
I don't deprive myself of food. I eat a lot. I just
nice.
It counts.
Yeah, nice. I love that.
One of the things, Wick, that I've really appreciated by being part of your members area with access to the recipe vault and everything is how many of the meals are designed for families in terms of, because I think lots of healthy stuff is designed as if you were just cooking for 2 grown-ups, and that's totally different than as if you're cooking for, bigger households, perhaps fussy eaters, texture, all of those sorts of things. And I love the power of the batch cooking. So do you maybe want to talk about that? Because obviously I've experienced the benefit, but do you maybe want to, because I think sometimes that's what trips families up from being healthy, is it's all designed for empty nesters or pre-kids folk who can poach a salmon and have some green beans, and my kids are like, what the fuck's a green bean? Like, you know?
Yeah. So firstly, I'd say it comes down to planning. To do a meal plan. If you struggle, if you get to the end of the night, end of the day, and you're like, what am I having for dinner? And that's when the spaghetti and the hash browns or the Uber Eats, you know, come all too frequently, then you need to start doing some planning. And that might go back to Sunday afternoons, sometime in the weekend, and, you know, just doing your planning, order your shop, do your shop so that you've got your setup with all the ingredients ready to go, right? And then, yes, choose meals that you can double and freeze, or you can cook. Like, you might cook a roast chicken. Say one night you might have a roast chicken, and if I'm a family of 5, it would only do lunch the next day, right, for lunch boxes. Or you might cook 2 chickens, so that one night you have a roast chicken with your vegetables, whatever it is, and then the next day you pull it apart and you make it into it might be a chicken and mushroom pie, right? And then you might do it into a pasta dish, you know? So you're thinking, while you're already cooking, you're thinking about the next 3 meals that you can have, and then you might get another one into the freezer. Or it might be that you do quesadillas, you know, or a chicken nachos, you know, there's so many different ways. But planning is key. Planning is definitely key. And bulking it up with lots of veggies and using seasonal ingredients. I am very much about seasonal ingredients. I like, people say, like, I might grow in my garden, get a massive marrow and don't know quite, I know what to do with it, but because I've got so many, it's excess. And people are like, grate it up, put it in the freezer, or put it into casseroles. I completely forget that it's in the casserole, and then I find it a year later. Yeah, in the freezer. Sorry, not in the casserole, it's in the freezer, because I'm just terrible like that. But if that's what you need to do that to put into dishes throughout. But as I say, I'm seasonal, so I just use what is in season.
Amazing, love it.
At the markets.
You can make awesome quiches with courgette in them, or marrows. Just amazing.
Oh, I know. I had 2 that I had at the beach, and I posted in our local group. Does anybody want these? They were massive, and even for the pigs. And people were like, put them into fritters and into muffins and freeze them in casseroles and this and that. I'm like, I know I could do all of that, but I had so many anyway.
Yeah.
Do you want them? I was like, you're welcome to take them.
I love that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else before we wrap up? I'm a little bit conscious of the time here.
Yes.
Before we wrap up, is there any other little gold nugget takeaways that you've given us so many? I love your early starts in the morning and your warm water with your slice of lemon, ginger and cayenne pepper. I really love that. Is there any other little bits of gold nuggets that you'd like to share, or any particular pantry staples or anything you'd like to share with us before we wrap this up?
Well, I just wanted to share that if any of your audience needs a little bit of a kickstart, then I have got a free challenge coming up. It starts next Monday, the 13th of February, so it depends on when you are listening to this, but it's called 5 Days to Kickstart Your Healthy Eating Habits. And I will talk about, each day we're going to do 3 daily habits. So one of them is lemon and water that we've talked about. The second is having that well-balanced first meal of the day. So when you join up, you get a challenge toolkit. It's got recipes in it. I talk through, what it looks like. And then the other one is to get to bed earlier. And doing it in a community and where everyone's on the same path and journey, and it's just bite-sized. It's just 5 days, and it's just 3 really achievable habits that I've had women who have done it before, and 2 years down the track, they're still doing those 3 things.
Fantastic.
Right? But it just needs someone to just break it down. Okay, this is what we're doing. And then each day we talk about different topics on how to do healthy eating when you're time poor and exhausted, or how to do it on a budget, or how, sustaining snacks. So if your audience is interested in that, then they can register on Wicked Wellbeing /habits, and kicks off Monday 13th Feb. And we just all do it together, and it's just a nice little, kids are now back at school, it's time to focus on us.
Love that. It's perfect timing, actually. The reset for the new year, isn't it? Like for the year ahead. Love it.
That's why I planned it that way, because I don't have the space or the brain power to do it when my kids are at home as well.
Amazing.
And I think like it's a really lovely space, and it's one of the things that we've spoken about, before in previous conversations. There's so much power in community. Yes, and I think someone might be listening to this going, oh, I thought I was the only one that. But by coming into a space like the one that you create, they realize how common it is, and that common, that group medicine concept.
Yes.
It's almost as healing as the habit change.
Yes, it is. It is. And as you spoke, group medicine is, just for those of you who don't know what group medicine is, it's bringing a group of people together for accountability and support who are wanting the same change as you are, right? So if AA is group medicine, for example, people wanting to stop drinking, and so you're doing it in that group, and not necessarily with an expert, it's just someone who's gone before you who can show you the way and make your journey quicker and easier. And a lot of women just feel totally lonely. You're right, Alana. They just think, I'm on my own. But doing it together.
Social media is so shitty at that. Like it makes us think that we'll put a filter on it and we'll style the picture, and I'll have my kids artfully arranged in the neutrals, and then I'll take a photo of my colourful smoothie. But like most times I get my smoothie ingredients wrong, and it's just manky. And so I take a photo of it, and so I think I'm the only one that makes manky smoothies, right? But actually we're all making manky smoothies 6 days of the week. Like one day of the week we'll get it right, and it will be beautiful, and it will pop, right?
Totally. Which is the one that you'll photograph?
Yeah.
Or not.
I'll put extra spirulina in, so it actually looks green and not that weird bluey green thing.
Oh, love it. We're all just trying to make little improvements, aren't we? Like just trying to do things right, but life sometimes gets in the way, and we don't always crank at everything perfectly. But there's so much power in your group medicine, and in realizing that other people are going through the same struggles, and talking to people that are like-minded, that are wanting to make the same changes you are, and can hold you accountable for putting those changes in place. So I really love that. That's fantastic. Like very cool.
Just small steps.
More steps.
Yeah.
And I just want you to take action. From listening to this, just take one action, whether it's to sign up to my challenge, or whether it's to start with warm lemon and water, or to reduce your alcohol or reduce your coffee. Just take one small step.
Yeah.
And take action, because that's what is going to make the difference.
That's such a powerful place to finish off. Thank you so much for joining us, Wick. And having experienced the benefit of being part of your members area, I can't rate it enough for meal inspiration, ideas for kids' lunch boxes, healthy snack ideas, and just to give me a little bit of semblance of feeling like I'm not a complete chaos show when it comes to nutrition for my family. So thank you, and highly recommend anybody with a pulse who wants to feed their family coming to check you out.
That's awesome. Amazing. Love it.
So my website is wickedwellbeing.com.
Fantastic.
Find out all the details.
Amazing.
Thank
you so much, Wick.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies. Very enjoyable.